Hey everyone, and welcome to Asaltysquid. I'm your host, but you can just call me Daddy, but not in a kinky way. And my prop for today is my Solok scale mate. He squeaks, and I love him so much. Anyhow, what's all this? It's me, and my truest weeb form. Someone gave me an otaku megastone, and I evolved. But it's only temporary, so the next video, it'll probably unevolve. Because I play... Wow, I just realized I've just advertised, like, 3 fandoms that I'm trash for. Got my Deadpool shirt, I already mentioned Homestuck, and I just mentioned Pokemon. So yeah, there we go. Overall nerd. I'm into a lot of stuff. So anyhow, this is going to be the second OC review. And yeah, so we should probably just get into it. Okay, so this is by Tom on Creepypasta Oc, and it's called I Played Hide and Seek on the Deep Web. And this isn't a character, but a whole story, so technically it's not an OC review, but, you know, semantics. I don't think that's how you say that. Whatever. Okay. Come here, buddy. He's gonna help me read. Okay. I'm ashamed to admit that I love browsing the deep web. And no, I don't get pleasure from the gruesome content like other sick bastards who used it. I used it to find new websites, deleted websites, and explore. Did you know that the deep web is actually 5 times larger than the internet? I'll explain a little bit about what the deep web is. It used to be a secret service for the military, known for shipping guns and weapons that regular citizens couldn't own. Somehow, over the years, it became a platform for anything illegal. They have black markets for selling illegal weapons, guns, drugs, hacking, humans, dead or alive, and basically the worst things that you can think of. They abuse and murder for pleasure and upload it to the darkest corner of the disturbing platform known as the deep web, and sometimes referred to as the dark web. So, overall, we're off to a good start. Little nitpicky things. I have to say, the place where you list all of the stuff, you can just say illegal weapons and not, like, mention the guns, because then that just gets a little bit repetitive. So, illegal weapons, drugs, hacking, humans, and basically the worst things you can think of. And as far... it gets a little wordy when you say, and sometimes referred to as the dark web. I would put, they abuse and murder for the pleasure and upload it to the darkest corner of the disturbing platform, known as the deep web or dark web. It just kind of cuts it shorter and makes it a little less wordy, but again, nitpicky stuff. On most sites, it is owned by a dangerous creep. Said creep can hack your webcam on and watch your every move. Just one wrong click on the deep web can lead to all over your information being sent to thugs and felons. The worst part is that the deep web contains illegal human experiments. Seriously, don't try to find it. I only browse through it to find interesting sites like cult homepages and conspiracies. I know that you can die at every corner of the deep web, but that is if you don't know the correct way to use it. With the right softwares, you can do anything. Anyway, I was 13 when I started browsing it one day. That morning, I found a strange website called Real.Games, with the disturbing banner of a wide grin that didn't show any part of the face. For that, I would just put cut off wide grin or something like that. Again, it just gets a little worried. Not worried. Wordy. That's the word that I'm looking for. Just strangling Solux over here. Also, this was made by my friend. She's super talented, and I love him so much. Mwah. Alrighty. scrolled down to see what the website contained. I soon learned that it was a site dedicated to games. One of them was called Run and Hide, and it was about having a stalker attempt to track one on social media, and they have to get the stalker arrested without contacting the police. Another one was titled Capture the Flag, which was about playing the traditional capture the flag game in the forest, but you have to get your hostage from a worn down shed instead of finding a flag. I figured that they were all just gruesome computer games that were too violent to remain on the surface web. I thought that it would be something like online tag, but with gore or something like that, so I considered clicking one of these. I also wanted to see why these games couldn't remain on the surface web. I soon came across one called Hide and Seek, a game of hide and seek that takes place in a giant abandoned hotel. I clicked the green play button and waited. It then asked me which out of the listed servers that which out of the list. Okay, for this, I would just change it to, it then asked me which of the listed which of the listed servers I would be choosing. That's how I changed that sentence, because it's a little hard to read. It processed to list server A, server B, and server C. I chose server A. When my mouse hovered over it, the letters changed to spell tomorrow. I clicked. A green check mark flashed across the screen before it redirected me to the home page. I then closed my computer, feeling bored. The site hadn't accomplished anything right then and there. I stood up and walked to the kitchen to get a glass of water. I didn't understand the website's purpose at the time. I thought that I could play what I thought was a video game of hide and seek the next day, so I made plans to revisit the homepage. I went to bed and soon woke up the next day. My parents worked all day during the week, meaning I was also home alone that day. Okay, so I noticed especially in this paragraph, you use a lot of the day. Think of different adjectives, or maybe just change it up so it doesn't have so many consecutive days in very close together. Like, I went to bed and soon woke up that next morning, something like that. Or my parents worked an all-day shift during the week, meaning I was home alone for the entirety of it, or something like that. I revisited the homepage that morning. The sky was its finest shade of blue today. Again, you could have just said the sky was its finest shade of blue, because we already know that it's today. However, I didn't intend on going outside that day. On the corner of the screen, again, the sky was its finest shade of blue. However, I didn't intend on going outside. On the corner of the screen, there was some kind of timer counting from 30 seconds. Above the timer, it read, "Hide and Seek begins in." I decided to wait out the 30 seconds by staring at the screen. When the timer ran out, nothing happened. I clicked play again and it notified me that I was already scheduled to play that day. A sudden sound startled me. It was as if somebody had smashed a log through the door. That's a very specific example. Has he heard a log smashed through a door before? Is this just something that, just general knowledge? I mean, I personally have smashed my elbow through a window. That was not fun, but, it's not necessarily bad. It works, we get the visual, but maybe think of a less obscure example, I don't know. But again, that's just a very specific example. I have a gun under my bed because if you're an active deep web searcher, you still need to possess the bare essentials. What really scared me was rapid stepping coming up the stairs. Somebody had broken into my house. I hid in the closet with the gun aimed towards only the opening. I watched as somebody opened the door and slowly walked through it. They had a latex human mask on and black cloak. I was shaking. My heavy breathing gave away my hiding spot. He opened the closet even wider than it was. I shot him in the chest. It didn't do anything. He must have had bulletproof armor. That's the last thing I can remember. So, one thing, because I write from first person somewhat frequently, this is less, this is very it's very short and, fast, I guess. Choppy, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a very choppy, my hair is showing. It's very choppy. I I would think of using more transitional words rather than then. Like, you don't use exactly that, but you use it, that. Very rough words that, like, again, it's like a da-da-da-da-da-da. So, maybe my heavy breathing gave away my hiding spot as he opened my heavy breathing gave away my hiding spot and he opened the closet door. My heavy breathing gave away my hiding spot, and he opened the closet door even wider than it was. Nervously, hands shaking, I shot him in the chest, but nothing happened. He must have had on bulletproof armor. And something like that, just, it helps it flow smoother. But again, nitpicking. They had, oh wait, I already read that. Before waking up in a room, that's the last thing that I can remember before waking up in a room. It was a very dark room with a small crack of light beaming from the top of the wall in front of me. Good description. I thought that my life was over. My mind resorted to rape, trafficking, torture, death, and everything that people did on the deep web. Again, very, very, like, sometimes you can give too many examples. I would say I thought my life was over. My mind resorted to dark things. And just kind of leave it at that, because you already stated that a lot of this already happens on the deep web, so it's kind of implied that way, and it's less like, the thing is when you throw words like rape and torture, it kind of throws people off, because those are very serious words. So, like, I know whenever I see rape in a sentence, I kind of take a moment, like, whoa! So maybe just thinking about just changing that to dark things, as those things are already kind of implied in that. I had been kidnapped. In silent and shameful tears, I stared downward at the ground, regretting my decision to ever use this internet platform, until an alarm sound emitted from the side of the building. It was like a school bell sound. I heard screams and gasps coming from this room. I jumped onto my feet and back towards a wall. There were other people in this room. I suddenly assumed that they were the kidnappers until, I suddenly assumed that they were the kidnappers is a little bit weird of a sentence, so something like, it quickly occurred to me that they were the kidnappers until one of them said, who's there? Everybody started whispering, who are you? We all deduced the fact that they were the victims. We all deduced the fact that we were the victims, rather than they were the victims, because he is a victim as well. Everybody, I whispered loudly. Everyone in the room fell silent. What was the last website that you visited? They all responded with Real.Games. We all had clicked hide and seek. Suddenly light flooded in the room. I could now see the innocent men, women, and children before me who had also been tricked into this. They were all lying down in this dark room. The wall, which was actually a giant door, opened like those automatic doors that you commonly see at a supermarket. The opening revealed we were trapped in some kind of room at the end of a hotel lobby. Okay, so, the only issue I had with this is you made it very clear at the beginning of the story that the dark web is kind of exclusive and not something that a lot of people, like, know about or go on. And so, you say innocent men, women, and children. Like, there's a lot. And for the first thing, children, I would cut out the children and lead it to teenagers, because when I think children, I think ages 1 to 10, and most kids wouldn't have the internet skills to be able to get into the dark web, and also this implies that a lot of people can just easily access it, which kind of negates your beginning statement. And also, you had stated that most of the people on the dark web are scum, which kind of eliminates the fact that there could be all these people who were innocent. So I would actually eliminate the innocent and just say I could now see the men and women, and if you wanted to add like a more younger audience, like the men, women, and teenagers, because I highly doubt that a child would be able to possess the skills to get onto this platform. We all tried walking out of the door before gunmen in all kinds of masks walked in front of us and started shooting in the air. Everyone in the room gasped or screamed, except for me. I backed into the wall that I was previously leaning on. Some of them fell to the floor, but we knew to back the hell up. Sorry, my stutter is kind of bad in this. Welcome to hide and seek, said one of the masked men in a deep voice. As soon as this bullet hits the ceiling, you will have 30 seconds to hide anywhere in the building. Cameras are watching, so don't even think about trying to escape. We know where all of you live, and we're not afraid to harm your families. If you're found, we kill you. I will start as the seeker. A time similar to the one on the computer that morning started. I couldn't believe that this was actually happening. I could barely process what he had just said from the shock of the situation. Everybody had started running everywhere. I bolted out of the dark room. I looked around. I was in a hotel. The plant in a giant porcelain pot, a fountain, a check-in counter, and an elevator made it obvious. So you already stated that they were in a hotel. So I don't think that this realization, like, you had already said earlier in the story that they were at the end of a hotel lobby, so I really don't think it's necessary to restate this fact, because it seems like he's already very much aware of the situation he's in and his environment. This was hide and seek in an abandoned hotel. The website actually emulated hide and seek into a real game. The timer hit 20 seconds. Again, this is maybe something I would put right after he says, some of them fell to the... Wait, no. The opening revealed that we were trapped in some kind of room at the end of the hotel lobby, and then insert, this was hide and seek in an abandoned hotel. Something like that. I don't know. The timer hit 20 seconds when I realized I had to hide somewhere fast. I ran to the stairway since the elevator was jammed with people and had no room. I started to make my way to the top floor when I thought, I need to be smart about this. The top floor would be the most obvious place to check. There were 7 floors, so I decided to hide in the 4th one. I tried the handle to a random room, but it was locked. The timer went off. I needed a plan. Luckily, there was a janitorial closet beside the vending machine where I was hiding behind. I assumed the seeker was checking the bottom floors first. I then grabbed a plant and a huge porcelain pot and slammed it into the janitorial closet. The frail old door shattered. I opened into the room and found a master key that unlocks all the door. I hopped out of the room and quickly unlocked a random room. Again, maybe don't repeat the word room. It makes your sentence a little wordy. So, I hopped out of the closet and quickly unlocked a random room. That also makes it more clear, because certain people don't have a great, they're not great, not recessive, like, at retaining when they're reading, and so they might not remember that it was a janitorial closet, despite the fact that you said it earlier in the sentence, so restating that kind of clears that up a little bit. Alright. Where was I? I hopped out of the room and quickly unlocked a random room. I knew to close lock and barricade the door. I hid in there, hearing many screams come from every direction. The deep web had brought me to this game. From that moment in the closet of that room, I vowed to never use the deep web. Also, you never state him going into the closet of this new room. Again, a little repetitive. Maybe put him under the bed of the room if it has one again, just to kind of shake things up a bit. All right. I vowed to never use the deep web. I kept the lights off in that room for some reason. I was too scared to cry. I felt like life drained out of me as I heard footsteps on this floor. I could hear someone in the hallway outside the door. They were talking to another person about how someone had found the master key. Innocent people were dying here. Death surrounded me. I heard all kinds of noises echo in pure sadness. After 2 minutes of waiting in that room, head in hand, an alarm suddenly burst from the hallway. Time up! Everyone report downstairs. I hopped up and removed the barricades. I kept the master key in my pocket as I ran down the stairs, hoping for a chance to leave this place. Maybe the sick fucks would let me go. I jumped down the stairwell and ran into the lobby where the game had first started. I was the only one down there. A chill ran down my spine when I saw the masked man approach me. You're the seeker now, he said, handing me a gun. I stared at it blankly. I just wanted to get out of there. I sat there. The only sound in the lobby was the group of new kidnapped people in the starting room waking up and whispering. I just wanted to find a way to end this sick game. I was the only living player from the first one. Something just burst inside of me, the feeling of hope. I had entered this game, survived, and wanted to quit. All that was left for me to do was escape. My mind was focused on ways to escape to the point where I wasn't even paying attention to my surroundings. After a minute of pondering, I looked up. The masked man sat on a nearby couch, staring at the door to the starting room. With a boost of courage, I kicked the vending machine into the wall. I knew that this building was unlike any others. It was one of those disgusting motels. It left a big, square-shaped hole in the wall. Sorry if you just heard my mother in the background. With a boost of courage, Okay. Mother, stop talking. Ugh. Okay. It left a big square-shaped hole in the wall. I rushed at the hole. I heard the masked man yell, "Hey," and chase me down. I turned around before jumping out of the hole. The masked kidnapper had his gun aimed at me. I aimed mine back and fired as I fell onto the bush beneath. I dropped the gun in that bush and ran for my life. My deep web days are officially over. I couldn't contact the police because the deep web is believed to be illegal. I have since been skeptical to the true meaning of hide and seek. Real dot games is something that I never want to talk about again. I'm not sure if I should say this. Call me crazy if you want, but that was an interesting, thrilling experience that I hopefully never get again. So overall, this was a really decent story. You had a good beginning, middle, and end. Everything led into everything else. Other than the few critiques I said along the way, the only things I'd like to add to that is, you describe a lot of action rather than... It's a lot of telling and not showing, which in a literary sense means it's a lot of he sat, he ran, he saw, he cried. When it would really improve the story to add more description to rather than I was afraid to my heart beat fast as I sprinted for a hiding place. Desperation clenched at my insides as I slammed the pot against the door. That kind of thing just makes a great story go from great to excellent. Also, the ending. So he does get away, and it's like, okay, great. But he stated towards the middle, like, right, well, not him, but the gunman stated towards when they had just been, like, introduced to the hotel format, or location, that they knew where they lived, and they would kill their families. And you never really resolve that, because the statement after, it's clear some time has passed when he's telling you this story, like, or recounting what happened to him. So, did they move? Like, how did he manage to avoid them finding him? That's just something I'd think about. And other than that, I think that was my really only point. But yeah, overall, great story. So I'm gonna start wrapping this up. So I have been getting a lot of these OC reviews. So after I finish the people who I promised that I'd review them, I'm gonna start having to pick through which ones I do and don't do. Most likely, I will be picking ones that I feel need a little more help. So if I don't pick you, don't think that it's anything against your story or you. I want to pick the people who I believe I can really help improve. And so yeah. Oh, and also, for those of you who follow me on Amino, I have a comic that my boyfriend and I hopefully will be releasing Wednesday. It's called Camp Curse. It's going to premiere on Tapastic, and it's pretty snazzy. If you're into spooks and monsters, this is your jam. Like, it's for everyone if you like any form of monster. Like, you want werewolves? We got them. You want vampires? We got them. You want sexy bees that'll impregnate you with eggs? If my boyfriend would have let me, we would have had them. But overall, yeah, that's gonna be really cool. So I'm probably gonna post about it on Wednesday on Amino, and I'll remind y'all to check it out on my video that comes out Thursday. And yeah, that's just about it. Thank you for tuning in to my silly little videos, and just thanks for watching and have a lovely day.